Audio check ahead of round 26 action here at Marconi Stadium in Bosley Park. All good? Ready? Well, the stakes are high. The stage is set. It's just a story waiting to be told. A tale of two teams indeed tonight. One team very much fighting for the title. The other side very much fighting for survival. A game that was originally scheduled to be played at Plume Park just over a week ago has found its way down south here to Bosley Park. Here at the Palace, Marconi Stadium, for round 26 of the New South Wales NPL men's competition. As the Central Coast Mariners take on the Marconi Stallions. Pete Pryor with you this evening, a gorgeous winter's evening here in Bosley Park. Absolute pleasure to have your company, as it always is, wherever it is you may be tuning in from. It's a short turnaround for both of these sides, of course. Both were in action on Sunday afternoon. Marconi here, victorious 3-2 in the Italian derby over Apia Leichhardt. And the absolute ding-dong affair to end all ding-dong affairs for the Mariners. No time to think about what could have been on Sunday afternoon at Rockdale. They went ahead through Harper Riles, but succumbed to such a late last gasp equaliser in the 95th minute. Is it a case of 1 point gained or 2 points lost? We'll find out when it all comes out in the wash. I'm sure the Mariners may well feel it was a case of the latter. The team news is in, so let's have a look at how each side lines up ahead of kickoff here at the Palace. For Marconi, just the one change. Out drops Damien Sekenis. He'll play no part today. In comes Jake True, promoted from the substitutes bench. Geordie Swibble, promoted to the bench. The full lineup for Marconi as follows. Number 1, James Hilton, of course. Number 2, Tyron Burney. 6, Dom Costanzo. 7, Franco Meyer. 8, Jimmy Bayless. 10, and captain, Marko Jesic. 12, Julian Monge. 13, Tas Murakutis. 14, as we said, Jake True. 18, Georgie Daniel. And 23, Brendan Vella. For the Central Coast Mariners this afternoon, also forced into one change for Lucas Valela's side. Harper Riles succumbing to a hamstring injury in the latter knockings of that 1-1 draw with Rockdale. Noah Smith comes into the starting 11 for the first time since his switch from the Western Sydney Wanderers in mid-season. Debut start for young Noah Peacock, I should say. My apologies. Their full lineup as follows. Number 40, Joel Wade. 3, and captain Michael Paragully. 11, Jai Rose. 12, Ty McKibben. 19, Noah Peacock, as we said. 21, Muginga Mporta. 22, Shumba Mutakui. 23, Lawrence Taylor. 24, Kai Schumacher. 35, Max Miller. And 38, Harry Jablonski. The whistle blows and away we go here at the Palace, finally, for round 26. News on the Mariners bench as well. Also this afternoon, the inclusion of Ahmed El Helou, who returns to the first team. Battling his way back to near full fitness. This is clipped over the top in the direction of Jesic and hooked into touch on this near touch line by Harry Jablonski. Ayuk Mo will take no part in today's match. He was booked late in Sunday's clash against Rockdale, his 5th of the season. Originally went down on the stats as 1 to Harry Jablonski, in fact, but it was Ayuk Mo's card, and as a result, he'll sit out tonight. Marconi with a fantastic opportunity this evening to go level on points with Spirit atop the table. Of course, Spirit would remain top, courtesy of their superior goal difference. The Mariners themselves, as we said, currently anchored to the foot of the table. Level on points with the Wanderers, but the Wanderers just ahead of them also on goal difference. A win tonight would not only propel them off the foot, but all the way out of the bottom 2, out of the relegation zone. They would leapfrog Mount Jude, who are just 2 points ahead. Marconi would have to fancy their chances, and their spirits will be buoyed as well, of course, after that victory on Sunday as they stride forward into the area here. It's going to be pulled back, is it? It is pulled back. It stayed in. No, it hasn't. Lashed into the back of the net by Franco Meyer, but the ball had certainly run over that byline. There's Dom Costanzo with the enterprising run forward. burning past all and sundry, including the byline. Long from Wade towards Mporta, who gets his head to it first and has Jablonski supporting. Gives it first time into the channel in the direction of Mporta. Comfortably cleared up though. Jablonski stretches to try and keep it in play, but just over the touchline, right in front of the gantry here at the Palace. Wonderful vantage point that we have here at Marconi Stadium. Vela just goes across the back to Mildakudis. Big mid-season signing, of course, Tas Mildakudis. They needed some defensive reinforcements, of course, as this goes in the direction of Marko Jesic, stretching to try and bring it under his spell, just ran away from him. Mildakudis, a big name, of course, in A-League and NPL law. Season-ending injury to Cami Windust, and Lenaric, of course, still out as well. Not a bad player to be able to bring in as he hoists one forwards. Paragali will rise to nod it away from potential danger. Into touch though. Paragali again. McKibben now. Schumacher. Rose bursting forward over halfway. Losing out right on halfway. Jablonski to retrieve and trust his goalkeeper's feet. Why not? Joel Wade was an absolutely fantastic touch on Sunday afternoon against Rockdale. It's 4 or so absolutely top-class saves, continuing to add to his highlight reel. He may well be called upon sooner rather than later here, as well as Max Miller's isolated. Burns round him, clipped in towards True. It won't be True, it will be Meyer! Saved initially and hooked off the line. That is exceptional last-ditch defending from Michael Paragali, crucially sliding in. Not even 5 minutes on the clock here in Bosley Park. Joel Wade called upon, and Michael Paragali with the crucial touch. Really does lead by example, Michael Paragali, of course. Promoted to the captaincy this season. Here he is again, Paragali, forward towards Mporta. Lawrence Taylor now. Immediately has Julian Monge for company, so goes back to Mutakui and all the way back to Wade. In the direction of Peacock. Had Mutakudis all over him. It was Bayless hooking one around his shoulder. Inventive little flick there from McKibben. They look good when they come off, but there would have been a few Mariners' hearts in mouths there, I fancy. In that sort of area in your own defensive third. Peacock just a little over-eager in his attempts to win the ball back. Back for the free kick we will come. Here's Meyer. Scored an absolute stunner last time these sides met at Plume, did Franco Meyer. Was the difference on that day. James Bayless and Jai Rose coming together there. Final touch off Jimmy Bayless, the former Mariner, of course. Still very highly regarded on the Central Coast by many. Brother Lockie these days plying his trade at Newcastle Jets, in action tonight. In Australia Cup action, of course, against Cooks Hill. Brother Lockie, though, starting off the bench while big brother James gets a start here for Marconi. Vela nods it forward. Towering sort of header in the direction of Jesic. Schumacher wins it off the Stallions captain. There's George Daniel, weaving his way outside. Near touchline is Meyer. It was really fizzed in at him. Rose able to steal in there, and then Rose goes down under the challenge of Meyer. Nothing doing. Here's Bayliss. Now Meyer again. Maybe thinking about the shot. Not just thinking about it, striking. Not getting the connection that he would have hoped for there, Franco Meyer. Perhaps thinking back to that goal when he just referred to, when he was the difference between these two sides at Pluham Park last season. These sides, of course, don't get the opportunity to meet at Pluham this season. As we said atop the broadcast, this fixture was originally scheduled to be played about a week and a half ago at Pluham, but Mother Nature put paid to that. Central Coast really crying out for an all-weather surface to be utilised. Mariners, I understand, have attempted to work with council to get something put together for that, as this is hooked around the corner for Marko Jesic. Clipped into the area, but no one arriving. Yet to be seen if Central Coast Council will be willing to work with the Mariners on that. You would certainly hope so. Wide is Daniel. Straight into Max Miller and straight into touch. Here's Bernie. Trying to burn around the outside of Rose. Rose has his measure this time. And Bernie with a handful of the jersey of Jai Rose and a couple of chops at the legs as well for good measure. Well, into the 10th minute here at Marconi Stadium. Mariners, for the vast majority of this one, have been hemmed back into their own half, really. They are a side who can hurt you in transition, though, as we saw against Rockdale on Sunday. That's great feet here from McKibben as he dances around a couple and then looks to release some Porter. Vela always favourite to get there. His ball out, only finding Harry Jablonski. And then Meyer forced to just hook that one into touch. Jake True asking for a bit more from his teammates. He's going to win the ball here ahead of Mutakui as well, is True, and Mutakui with a good little toe in through the legs of True. You can hear the cries of Michael Paragalli urging Mporta to apply that press straight away, try and force the issue a bit. Miller nods it forward to, well, it was either going to be Taylor or Schumacher. In the end, it was Taylor. Again, giving Mporta something to chase. This time, again, Mporta was a fair old way behind it. Comfortable for Vela to just play back to James Hilton. Into touch it goes, though. Meyer looking for that sweeping crossfield ball, angling it out in the direction of, it looks like Bayliss giving chase. It's not, of course, Bayliss, because James Bayliss is very much more centrally than that. Was, of course, George Daniel who comes forward to apply the press now as well. Actually, it's George Daniel arriving now. I'll get my player ID right eventually. New glasses required, perhaps. There's Monge. Sent clear once again by the coast. As far as Vela, just skews his clearance really off the outside of the boot, but it stayed in play. Well, or has it? It has, but the flag is up for offside. It's a bit scrappy in parts so far in the opening 12 or so minutes here in Bosley Park. No real signs of the tension, though, that was absolutely palpable at Illingdon Sports Centre on Sunday afternoon as the Mariners took on Rockdale. And Potter rising to meet it. Maybe didn't get the direction he wanted on the header, and Meyer will thump it clear into the night sky. Paragalli will rise to meet it. McKibben racing back to get on the end of it, and he's hauled down by James Bayliss. Jablonski now. Schumacher offering support, and back with Mutakoi. Yesic coming forward to press young Shumba Mutakoi. Wade, central for Rose. Again, just bundled off it a little too easily, and now Bernie with a chance to slalom into the area, and True, oh, well. You'd really expect a little bit better. In all fairness, I'm sure he won't mind me saying there from Jake True. You could see the reaction as well from the number 14, throwing his head back in despair as he really got underneath the effort. Tyrone Burney did ever so well to fashion the opportunity. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and suggest perhaps there was a slight bobble as he struck it. Just the 3 goals for the season so far this season for Jake True. A fairly lean return by his standards. It is only his second start since round 15, though. His last start was in that absolute hit job that Spirit FC put on Marconi here at the Palace in round 25. 5-star performance from Spirit FC in that 5-0 victory. Here's Meyer. Unable to weave his way inside, and Jablonski will clip it clear. Taylor giving Peacock something to chase. Here's a foot race between Mutakutis and Peacock. Mutakutis had a couple of yards head start. Bernie. Forward into the wide area, and by wide area I mean all the way over the touchline. Pass intended for Jake True, of course, former Wollongong Wolf, who's had so far certainly the best chance of the match. Meyer again hooking it around the corner, and Max Miller this time getting there ahead of all and sundry. Flicked header from Bayliss. Headed back in turn by Schumacher. Headed inside in turn by Potter. And Potter again. Marconi asking the question as to whether Potter had handled that one. Nothing doing, just a throw in. Mutakoi closed down quickly by True, and here's Yesic looking to sweep the cross. Blocked off though by a sea of yellow jerseys. Mutakoi's clearance in turn is blocked off by Yesic. Looked like the ball had originally stayed in play between the legs of Jake True. Mutakoi eventually prodding it into touch. Here's Bernie, a couple of yards ahead of Rose. Bernie pulls it into the area, repelled by Paragalli as far as Schumacher, who will complete the clearance. No one forward for the Mariners though. Easily cleared up, reclaimed by Mutakutis, who's got a chance to stride forward from the heart of defence. Daniel. Georgie Daniel now, weaving and twisting and turning and trying to fashion an opening for the cross. She does in the end. Paragalli does well to prevent the corner. Another former Mariner, of course, George Daniel, a 22-year-old. Sydney Olympic and Wanderers junior before making the move to the Central Coast. Mutakui, well, it was really fizzed in, that cross. Very awkward sort of height as well for the centre half to deal with. Anywhere will do, really, when they come in at you like that. Behind it goes for a corner. Just about everyone forward here for Marconi as well. Packed with bodies at penalty area, and everyone behind the ball for the Mariners as Peacock nods it clear. Might just come straight back at them though, as the cross is hoisted in towards Bayliss at the back post. Nodded back for Mordekudis. Perhaps not the most likely of suspects, and I did have to double check that it was in fact Tas Mordekudis pulling the trigger there. Straight into the arms of the grateful Mariners custodian in Joel Wade. Mordekudis gets his head to it ahead of Mpota. Monge clipping one forward to Marko Jesic, who perhaps wants to isolate Mutakui. First time cross, in fact, towards Jake True. Well defended once again by Michael Paragali. Mutakui stretches well to keep it in play. Jai Rose's attempted turnaround, Bernie. Here's Jesic with a sight of goal, and Kai Schumacher preventing that sight of goal by simply hauling Marko Jesic to the deck. Well, that's one way to stop the Stallions skipper. It's not entirely a legal one though, and Marconi now have a free kick as a result in a very intriguing sort of position. Meeting of the minds over the ball between Marko Jesic and Frankel Meyer. Angle perhaps favouring the left foot of Meyer, a cultured left foot of his. Angle perhaps not favouring Marko Jesic being able to whip it around to the back stick, but will it be Meyer? It will be Jesic to go direct for goal. Stallions are howling for a handball as it whipped around the wall. It certainly took a touch on the way through. The referee seems to be indicating that the arms were certainly in a natural position, particularly if you're in the wall there. Or was it a player on the way through behind the wall? In any case, just a corner to show for it. Hoisted in, Wade comes, doesn't claim. Meyer blocked off the line again. And Wade has taken a knock on the way through there as well. He tried to race through a sea of bodies to get to that one. Didn't really get any connection on it. Was left really grasping at thin air. Leathered goalwards again by Meyer from the edge of the area. It was McKibben who took all the sting out of it before it was headed off the line. Another corner for the Stallions. Swung in towards the back post. This time Wade does get a good fist to it. Right behind for the third Stallions corner in quick succession. Costanzo across to take. Again looking to swing this one in. Everyone in the area for the Mariners as it is swung in oh so deep. Vella gets there to nod it back across the face of goal, and it's 0-2 deep in the end. Behind it goes to really relieve the pressure for the Mariners. Been under the pump for the first half of the first half here at Marconi Stadium. Paragali has his legs taken away from him. perhaps anticipated the contact there. In fairness, did Michael Paragalli as well. Drew the contact and wins the free kick. Well, it's a real sort of smorgasbord of football for your Wednesday evening. Of course, there is round 27 action currently taking place as well. Sydney United and Blacktown City. We'll try and bring you an update on that one in just a moment. Well, we can bring you an update on that one right now. 67 minutes gone. Still deadlocked. Goose eggs. 0-0 at Sydney United Sports Centre. Well, that's not all, of course. 3 Australia Cup fixtures currently underway as well. One of those involving a New South Wales NPL men's club in Apia Leichhardt. We can update you on that one as well. At half-time, they find themselves down by 2-1 against Avondale. Wide it goes for True via Monge. Costanzo looking to punch a hole in the Mariners' defence really there, but too forcefully behind it goes. Though the other matches in action in the Australia Cup, of course, Cooks Hill United hosting the Newcastle Jets at half-time. Newcastle lead by 2-0. South Melbourne hosting Auckland FC. At half-time in that one, Auckland leads by 1-0. Here's James Bayliss with a handy pocket of space. Bayliss will strike. Had a long time to size up the Mariners' goal there. Joel Wade happy to watch that sail harmlessly wide, as it turns out. In all my years of watching James Bayliss, I've never figured out if he is naturally right or left-footed. Speaking to players that have played and trained with him for a number of years as well, they have exactly the same disposition or position. Described to me by one of his former teammates as the most genuinely two-footed player they've ever come across at any level of the game. Wonderful technician as well. Hoisted back into play by Miller. Hooked around the corner by Peacock, giving Mpota a little tussle here with Mutakutis before it's shouldered into touch really by Mutakutis. The Mariners make a rare foray forwards into their attacking third, it must be said. Hooked clear as far as Mutakoyi. Jablonski all the way back to Wade. It's a short-lived venture into their attacking third for the Mariners. Here's Paragalli, though, looking to launch another raid. Jablonski. A couple of yards of space before he sweeps in the cross towards Mpota. It's a long way over the head of Peacock and a long way short of Muginga Mpota. Jablonski again, it just brushes off his head. It will stay in play. Clipped forward towards Rose. Jablonski again now. His clipped ball forward only finds the chest of Fabian Monge. Costanzo again looking to have the beating of Miller. Miller does exceptionally well to get body position there. Winners off the toe of Costanzo. McKibben just losing out in the tussle. Mariners winning out in the throw though. Much to the chagrin of many of those in Marconi blue. Mpota nodding it forwards. No Mariners players near it though, and now Marconi with a chance to break rapidly. Jesic has drifted wide. Back with Daniel, back with Mutakudis now. Vela. Bernie hugging the touchline and looking to burn around Rose again. Delivers to the edge of the 6-yard box, repelled initially as far as Monge. They'll just go back and reload, recycle here, the Stallions. Clipped over the top in the direction of George Daniel, one-on-one with Mutakui. Mutakui wins out in that battle. True, with his back to goal and his back to Paragali, and Paragali again winning that duel. It's backs to the wall stuff at the moment for the Central Coast Mariners as Meyer floats it forwards. Didn't have the direction required though, and just watched all the way back to Wade. Wade's under a little bit of pressure from Jesic, able to sort his feet out. Drives it forward. Monge will rise to meet it. Bayliss will help it on, only as far as Schumacher. Now Rose has the beating initially of Monge. Bayliss does well enough to get ahead of Rose, who's able to dig it out and link up with McKibben. Now, Taylor. Those two cut such similar figures on the pitch, Ty McKibben and Lawrence Taylor. Fairly interchangeable positionally as well. Paragali asking the question of the referee, feeling that his contact was illegally impeded by True. Nothing doing though. Paragali recovering quickly enough as well to block the cross of True as Marconi. We're keen to get on with things. Jesic just offering the bounce pass there before it's swung in. Not a clear initially by Mutakui. Jesic will have a strike, and Joel Wade has just seemingly lost his bearings there. Uncharacteristic error thus from Wade. Concedes the corner, and a little variation on the corner here as it's taken short to Jesic. Back out to Costanzo, who will look to deliver, and then will look to illegally drag back Jai Rose, who's keen to get things back on the move. Taylor sweeps it out to this near side with Jablonski. Franco Meyer herring across to meet Jablonski and prevent the pass coming forward from the Mariners fullback. Here is Meyer again, juggling, twisting and turning, and then slipping. Schumacher giving Peacock something to be interested in there. Peacock keeping Mutakudis very honest indeed. Mutakudis forced to just clip it into touch on this near touch line. Porter nods it on towards McKibben. Manages to dance into the area, but was surrounded by a sea of Marconi blue. Now it's Miller. Long way out. Now Rose. Trying to dance his way forwards. Does well to retain possession as well. That's good strength there from Rose. Now Jablonski to clip it in towards the head of Rose. Repelled initially as far as the edge of the area where Jesic will pick it back up. It's a better spell here from the Central Coast, which ends with simply a goal kick. That one is easily shepherded into touch by George Daniel. Just starting to ask a few questions in that passage of play, the Central Coast Mariners. As James Hilton sends everyone forward. Plays the goal kick relatively short anyway to Daniel, who will lift it forward. It was Miller sliding in and he's missed it. The flag's up though. And I'll tell you what, Franco Maya and Marco Jesic are absolutely apoplectic at the raising of the flag there. Feeling the Mariners fullback Max Miller got a touch on the ball and the ball was played up, thereby rendering the offside null and void. Max Miller won't have any complaints. And neither will the Central Coast Mariners, of course. About 33 or so minutes gone here at Marconi Stadium. If you are just joining us on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel, Pete Pryor with you. Still deadlocked here between the Mariners and Marconi. Meyer trying to wriggle free of the attention of 1, 2 and 3 Mariners jerseys. In the end, his pass is just under too much pressure. The Mariners win it back by way of throw-in. Mutakui is under a great deal of pressure there from Meyer. Apologies, that was Bernie, not Meyer, who played the ball into touch initially. And this time, Muginga and Porta too slow in getting back. Marconi eager to get things back on the move, wanting to race forward. Looking to increase the tempo from a jog to a sprint to a can to the Stallions. Murkudis, oof. Coming together between he and Peacock. On we go. Peacock has stayed down in a heap, just behind halfway. The Mariners will eventually have the free kick, perhaps not for the challenge from Mutakudis. So just get a look at the replay on the monitor there. That challenge from Mutakudis on Peacock. Just left a little bit in there. Taylor lets it run for McKibben. Now Miller on this near touch line. Into the channel it goes towards Peacock, who's shouldered off it this time by Mutakudis. Peacock not giving up on it. Not giving Mutakudis an inch either of thinking or breathing space. End result is just a goal kick, but goes to show the hunger of young Noah Peacock here in his first start in Mariners colours tonight, as we said. Couple of appearances off the bench so far. Scored off the bench in his second appearance in that 4-2 victory at Plume Park against St George FC. Rounded out what at the time was an absolutely crucial 3 points for the Central Coast Mariners. Could yet still prove to be as well. As McKibben sprays it wide for Miller. Now Peacock between the lines. Now it's Rose towards Mpota. Touch off Bernie in the end. Back to Hilton, who claims it gratefully. But again, that's how quick the Mariners can be. And well, there's a little set two off the ball there between Marco Jesic and Harry Jablonski. Harry Jablonski keeping his cool. Marco Jesic losing his completely. Now Jesic goes through the back needlessly of Lawrence Taylor, and he's going to have to be careful here, Marco Jesic. The 36-year-old, of course, wily, experienced veteran, the skipper. It seems like a couple of the Mariners players, and he's still remonstrating about something that Harry Jablonski has done or said. Got 16 or so years age difference between the two of them as well. Actually, I'll correct myself there. I think it's 19 years of age difference between the two of them. Their birthdays, in fact, just a day apart. Marko Jesic on the 7th of August and Harry Jablonski celebrating his 17th birthday just a few days ago on the 8th of August. Bayless. No real avenues open or afforded to in front, so opts to play square. Vela. Into the channel it goes and picked out again by Jablonski. Meyer emerges with it though, only momentarily. Blocked off by Schumacher. Vela again. Meyer. Trying to get a bit more involved. Here's Daniel now and Costanzo, who sends that one quite legitimately out of the stadium here. I think that's it's certainly the first time I can recall seeing one launched over the roof so emphatically. And I don't think he really got the cleanest clearance on it either. It looks like, or cleanest contact I should say, looks like it sort of skewed off the outside of his boot. The frustration evident from Dom Costanzo. Frustration slowly creeping into the Marconi ranks, which wouldn't be helped by Lawrence Taylor's little tug back there on Jesic, but advantage played, and perhaps a good one. Bernie forced to go back to Monge. Little patterns appearing here now with Bayless. And Bernie, good touch to take him away from Jablonski. It's Bayless again. Gets body position ahead of Mporta. Daniel. Costanzo being watched diligently by Miller. And effective enough as well. Costanzo forced into a heavy touch, which rolls all the way over the byline and behind. Max Miller's had no end of tough assignments since his promotion to the first grade sides. Doesn't get any easier tonight up against an opponent like Don Costanzo. Add to that a fullback who also loves to get forward in the form of George Daniel. He has acquitted himself ever so well by all standards so far. Vela has Bernie hugging this near touchline and will play one searching for him. Jablonski blocking the first time pass from Bernie, and now Rose emerging forwards with it. Rose, oh that's cheeky as well. Little nutmeg there on Vela before it goes inside to Mporta. Still going here, Mporta. Into the area towards Peacock and Schumacher. Not far away at all from Kai Schumacher. You can see the intent there, just looking to curl it into that top corner. Not quite coming back enough, but it had a wonderful looking tail on it, didn't it? The effort from Kai Schumacher from the edge of the area. Oh, just had a look at the replay, and that is agonisingly close for the Central Coast Mariners. Good work in the lead up as well from Mporta to link up with Peacock, and good little hold up from Peacock as well to just nudge it off to Schumacher. That's better from the Central Coast. Lucas Valela will be asking for more of the same. Taylor. Just a heavy final touch there. And a heavy challenge as well as he clattered into the legs of Brendan Vela. Referee says nothing doing. Certainly a physical mismatch between the two number 23s. Mutakui looking to play that ball into the channel again for Mporta. Comfortably cut out by Bernie, who plays one in to the half space in turn for True, who's bundled off it by Paragali. Asking the question as well, Jake True, feeling the contact was too forceful. Referee again completely unmoved. Miller inside for Peacock. Back outside it goes as the Mariners continue to stride forward. McKibben has just taken off his toe. Taylor will retrieve it though, before eventually the Mariners concede the foul, and it could have been any one of Taylor or Peacock, the guilty party. Stallions keen to get on with things. Miller only finding Yesic with his clearance. Half-hearted questions of a pass back there against Michael Paragali. Never going to be given, really, was it? The longer this one goes on, the more it feels like the Mariners are starting to grow in stature and grow in a bit of confidence, perhaps, dare I say it. As Wade goes long, it's comfortable for Villa, but only comfortable enough to nod it forward straight to the feet of Mpota. Now it's Peacock. Tries to play the pass, takes a couple of touches on the way through. Back out with Jablonski and Schumacher, who's come the closest from the Central Coast so far. Towards Jablonski. Just a goal kick, final touch off the Mariners fullback. Well, I did remark after about 10 minutes or so that there wasn't the same sort of palpable level of tension as there was between the Mariners and Rockdale on Sunday afternoon, but I'll tell you what, the last few minutes has certainly made me eat my words. You can feel, as we said, as time goes on, the longer the Mariners are able to hold Marconi at bay, growing in stature and growing in confidence, but Marconi growing in frustration. Discipline key. It's Costanzo now looking to get at Miller again, shifting onto his right, lays it off for Meyer, and Rose is there, not shirking his defensive duties, but he's turned it over cheaply as he looked to stride forwards. Meyer. Well, not the best of passes there from Franco Meyer. Just trying to link up with James Bayliss, but it's a long way ahead of James Bayliss. Into the final minutes of the regulation 45 here at Marconi Stadium for this deferred round 26 fixture between the Stallions and the Mariners, as we await to see the fourth officials board. Expect we'll just get the regulation 1 minute of time added on. We do indeed. Perhaps a chance here for Bernie as he strides into the area. Strides straight into Mutakui. And then cleared into touch emphatically by Rose. Again, a couple of half-hearted shouts, just asking the question as to whether the contact from Mutakui was too forceful. It certainly didn't look to be the case in live action. Well, there may have been a bit of a tug of the jersey, actually, on the replay. Peacock has stayed on side and he's laid it off well as well. Now it's Mpota. Still Mpota, wriggling his way to the byline, crossing the byline. And that will be the final action of the first 45 here at Marconi Stadium for round 26 between Marconi and the Central Coast Mariners. A game which, for all intents and purposes, has been simmering away, but yet to really boil into life as the Mariners look to cause a boil over here. Deadlock yet to be broken here in round 26. It's Marconi 0, Central Coast Mariners 0. We're off for a short break here at the Palace, but don't go anywhere. Make sure that you join us for the second half in about 15 or so minutes' time. A very warm welcome back indeed to Marconi Stadium here in Bosley Park, the Palace as it's known, for round 26, deferred round 26 action between the Central Coast Mariners and Marconi Stallions. Goalless after the first 45. The Mariners came the closest through Kai Schumacher from the edge of the area. Joel Wade forced into a couple of saves as well at the other end. 45 minutes of action to come to see if we can separate these two sides. It is the Mariners to resume hostilities here at the Palace, kicking from left to right on your screens for the second half. Taylor bustling his way through a couple, has his legs clipped on the way through as well. Perhaps James Bayliss, the guilty party there. Tried to just thread the needle between Franco Meyer and James Bayliss. In fact, it was Franco Meyer who just had a little kick out there at Taylor as he slalomed through, and it was enough to bring the Mariners number 23 down. And the Mariners straight away in the second half with a chance to create some havoc. Jai Rose and Harrison Jablonski both standing over this. Jablonski leaves it. Rose to hoist it in towards Schumacher. Comfortable take for Hilton, who's quick to get things back on the move as well. That's a good looking release from Hilton. Costanzo has green grass in front in which to move into. Quickly accompanied by McKibben though, and forced to hold it up and wait for support in the form of Monge. Bayliss just helps it on. Vela thought about the strike for a moment and then had second thoughts indicating otherwise. Bayliss under immense pressure from Mporta. Here's Daniel. Forced back under the press of McKibben there to Mutakutis. Monge now carrying it forward over halfway. Daniel hugging this near touchline. In the direction of True it goes. Shepherded effectively by Paragali back to his gloveman Joel Wade. Wade inviting Marconi forward onto him and then playing forward centrally to the feet of Rose. And Pota just left a little bit short though, the return pass for Rose, who does retrieve it though, but is unable to retain it. Mutakutis raking crossfield ball, maybe just holding up in the wind here. There is a slight breeze going from left to right here. Mariners playing with the wind in their backs. Will that be enough to put the wind in their sails as they search for a crucial 3 points? Daniel hoists it back into play. Really utilising the full width of the pitch there as well, Georgie Daniel. 3 points, of course, crucial for the Stallions, as well as this is launched forward towards Bernie, who's inverted a little bit from fullback. Noted clear initially by Jablonski and then Mutakui. Miller. Good ball from Max Miller to find the feet of Peacock, who sweeps it out towards Mporta, who's got Meyer for company. Still going into the area here. Mporta, is he brought down? He is indeed. Penalty Mariners. Muginga Mporta cutting back and inviting the challenge. A desperate sliding challenge there from Franco Meyer, taking away the legs of Muginga Mporta on the way through and sending the Mariners to the spot. A chance to break the deadlock here at the Palace. Inside the opening 5 minutes of the second stanza. It was Muginga Mpota who won the penalty. It will be Muginga Mpota to take the penalty. The hush falls over the Palace as Mpota steps up, and Mpota scores! Muginga Mpota sends the Mariners into ecstasy here early in the second half at Marconi Stadium. Unerring from the penalty spot, sending Hilton the wrong way. Slotting cool as you like into the bottom right corner. His third goal of the season. And how crucial will that one turn out to be? Still so much football yet to be played. Still at least 40 minutes of action. But we did say in the first half, the longer this one goes on, the more the Mariners seem to be growing in confidence and stature. And now growing on the scoreboard. Mpota in a little tussle on that far touchline there as well, and I fancy he's going to find his way into the book here. He is indeed delaying the restart. As Tyrone Burney wanted to get things back on the move. Now it's Costanzo trying to get around the outside of Miller again. Does so well enough to get to cross in, but that cross is repelled immediately by Paragali. Stepping forwards out of the line there was Mordekudis. Sends it high into the evening sky here in Bosley Park and just out into touch. Well, the Mariners have just about flipped the script on this one here. Marconi heavily favourites. But it's the Mariners so far in the ascendancy. As Monge sends it forwards. Daniel. Schumacher does well to win it from Costanzo, and now it's Rose, who's got Peacock wide with a bit of green grass in front and uses Peacock. Just chops back onto his left and finds the supporting cast in Schumacher. Helps it on, tidily indeed, to Jablonski. Who's just run himself into trouble there, Harry Jablonski, but Schumacher does ever so well to win it back. Good ball that from McKibben for Rose. Into the area it goes. Mariners are asking the question. They want to go to the spot again. Nothing doing, says the referee. No handball there. And again, it's Costanzo v Miller. And again, it's Miller winning out. Vela. Wide it goes, and now Burney herring after this one. Tyrone Burney crossing. Michael Paragali clearing. Hoisted back in to Monge. Daniel. Clipped into the channel now for Costanzo. And again, it's Paragali coming across to effect the challenge on Costanzo, and does very well to put himself between Costanzo and the ball. Manages to effect the clearance as well. Vela. James Hilton urging his teammates on from the back. Plenty of talk from the Marconi Gloveman. Playing conductor. Orchestrating this attack. Bayliss weaving through. He'll get the return pass as well, Will Bayliss. Forced just to go back and recycle though. Vela and Mordekudis. Cute little back heel that from Costanzo as well to find Jesic, and Costanzo will get it back and clip it in centrally, but all too close to Joel Wade. Joel Wade again. Drops it at his feet, invites a couple of Marconi players forward, and this time clipping it out to the near touch line. You can see the intention there for Max Miller. Just a little too far away from Max Miller as Costanzo hooks it over his shoulder. Jesic nods it on to the feet of Paragali, who emerges with it initially. Taylor wins it in the air. A little bit chaotic out there as McKibben and Taylor. Oh, bit of an arm across the chest, it looked like there from Taylor, and yes, it looks like we will come back for the free kick. And Pota felt he was also impeded, but we'll go back to the initial infraction there on Lawrence Taylor. The outstretched arm across the chest of Lawrence Taylor as he looked to burst clear. Meanwhile, Ty McKibben has stayed on the deck here as well. Physio being waved on by the referee, who also signals that all this time is, of course, being taken into account. As it was on Sunday, of course, when the Mariners went down so late at Rockdale. There were 4 minutes of time added on in that one. But, of course, Kai Schumacher it was who went down with cramp during added time. That was taken into account, and the equaliser scored at 94 minutes and 56 seconds. As it stands here, though, at the Palace, as we tick over the 56 minutes, it is the Mariners who hold the ascendancy courtesy of Muginga and Pota, scoring from the penalty spot. It looks like it may be a bridge too far for Ty McKibben to continue, which is a shame for the Mariners. He was very good on Sunday against Rockdale, and he's been very good again tonight. The Mariners readying a couple of changes as this one bounces over the head of Tyrone Burney. Jablonski it was giving chase, but Hilton simply plucks it off the deck and rolls it to the feet of Mordekudis. Finds the feet of Daniel Costanzo. Swept out to the far touchline. Jablonski it was rising, and the Mariners will take the opportunity now to go to their bench. It will be a double change, in fact, for the Central Coast Mariners. So Ty McKibben withdrawn. I'll bring you confirmation on those changes in just a moment as we want to see how this Marconi attack plays out. Well, it played out quicker than it even really got going. Jordan Small introduced, of course. And the other change for the Central Coast Mariners, Flynn Richards introduced to the fray. Live wire wide midfielder. Scored his first goal of the season for the under-20s against Rockdale on Sunday afternoon. As this is hoisted long and deep and giving Peacock something to chase, and it's Mordekudis there first. And then Hilton's given Mordekudis an awful puzzle to figure out. And he's only able to turn it over the byline. I'm just back on that Mariners under-20s match against Rockdale. Possibly the match of the season that I have witnessed. The Mariners went 2-0 up before going 4-2 down and finally ending up winning it by 5-4. Mariners corner. Rose takes short. Jablonski to hoist it in. Straight into the legs of the Marconi defender, though, and straight behind for another Mariners corner. Of course, as we mentioned, Flynn Richards introduced just a moment ago. It was the goal scorer, Muginga Mpota, who was withdrawn. Rose it is to swing in the corner towards the near post. Knotted clear quite comfortably. Jablonski tries to knot it straight back into the area, but it's hoisted clear. Taylor. Yesic straight into the legs of Taylor before it's sent forward with interest. Miller will rise. Misjudges the header initially, but able to regain his composure and just hook it over the touchline there as Franco Meyer was sniffing around with a great deal of interest. The Mariners also have Ahmed El Helou on the bench as well as he continues his return to full fitness. Another option up top, another dynamic up top really. Player who's been in really fine touch this season. Ahmed El Helou, 7 goals in all competitions across the first grade and under 20 setup. For the Mariners, it's a matter of, do we enter game management now or do we try and go for a second? Really, for Marconi, it's a matter of throwing everything they can at this one, which they do as they hoist it in towards Yesic. Now pops out for Bayless onto his left foot. Clipped delivery from Bayless, and Wade rises to pluck it out of the evening sky. Throw it out to Taylor. Little give and go with Rose. Burney. Well, Taylor seems to get around the outside of Burney. Burning past him here. Burney's done well enough to keep up. Has some support in the challenge eventually as well from Franco Meyer. We posited the question as to whether the Mariners would look to enter game management mode. It would certainly, I think, be too early to really be seriously considering that, and doesn't look like they are, because here's Small dancing around a couple of challenges. Now Taylor. Schumacher striking into the legs of Peacock, and Costanzo emerges clear with it. Has his legs clipped on the way through by Schumacher. That's a professional foul if ever I've seen one from Kai Schumacher, and an easy yellow card to give. Second Mariner into the book this evening. Kai Schumacher joins Morginga and Polter. Nearly joined him on the score sheet in the first half as well. Teasing, curling sort of efforts. Wide is Costanzo. He's kept it in play. Miller has got in between Costanzo and the ball, and the final touch in the eyes of the referee off Max Miller. We've just seen flash up on the screen the yellow card and the name of Lawrence Taylor against it, but it certainly was Kai Schumacher's card. As this corner is swung in, it's deep again, it's nodded back towards goal and straight into the breadbasket of Wade, who plunges on that one ever so gratefully. This time, long it goes towards Richards, who keeps Daniel honest, and honest enough to see that one into touch. Schumacher gets a toe in there. One in the air by Mordekudis. And nodded back straight forward by Schumacher. Here's Vela though for Marconi. It seems like a bit of a change of shape as well for Lucas Valela's young Mariners side. Noah Peacock seemingly operating as a lone striker for the time being. As we said, they do have options on the bench in the form of El Helu and also Logan Sandbrook as well, who drops to the bench this week. Flynn Richards trying to plead his case for the throw in there, quite vociferously. Lions person unmoved as Peter Sekenis goes to his bench for the first time this evening. Like for like change here. Geordie Swibble on in place of Jake True, who perhaps wasn't as effective in this second stanza. Got a couple of sights of goal in the first half, but seemed to perhaps fade out of the game, as we said, just his second start since round 15 as well. Hoisted in towards Swibble, immediately looking to get involved in the action. Bernie, Daniel, everyone except Peacock behind the ball for the Mariners at the moment. Costanzo hooks it in. Repelled again as far as Bayliss. Daniel, teasing, curling sort of delivery is over the head of Swibble. Nodded forwards, only as far as Jordan Small, who immediately looks to release Rose, who looked to nod it back inside to Peacock, but didn't really get the right sort of connection to guide it into the path of Peacock. Perhaps may have been wiser counsel to look at nodding it forward and chasing after his own header there. He's got speed to burn, just Jai Rose. But just looking to be a little bit more unselfish there and try and retain possession. It's a Marconi throw. No options in front, so back to Vela and Mordakutis. Flooding forward in numbers now are the Stallions. Costanzo looks to skip inside Miller, who's more advanced than Richards for the time being. Richards dropping in to cover the gap left by Miller. Interesting looking sort of pass that finds its way to Costanzo in a roundabout sort of way, who will clip it into the area. Mutakoyi rises. Bernie strikes. Has taken a touch on the way through as well. Good technique on the strike from Tyron Bernie. Wave of the right boot at it. And behind it goes for a Stallions corner. Those Marconi fans behind the goal, giving no end of encouragement to their side as they look to chase the game here. Corner to be swung in towards the near post and diving header. They look spectacular when they come off, but that one had not the direction required from Geordie Swibble to pose any real sort of threat or cast any real sort of shadow on Wade's goal. Wade. Straight down the throat of Vela, really. There's Swibble. Mutakutis. Vela. Raking crossfield ball that from Vela. How's your touch, Dom Costanzo? Not bad, he says. Now Daniel. Monge. Assessing the options. Clipped in towards Swibble. And plucked virtually off the head of Geordie Swibble by Wade. Monge gets there ahead of Richards. George Daniel. Jordan Small coming across to effect the challenge. He's done ever so well. So composed is Jordan Small. Came off the bench, of course, in that game against Rockdale last week and really was the architect for the Mariners' goal in that one. Winning the ball back on the halfway line, immediately releasing Harper Riles as well. Put it on an absolute plate for him. No Harper Riles tonight for the Central Coast Mariners, as we said. Picked up a bit of a hamstring injury in the latter knockings of that draw at Rockdale. Both sides now as well looking to go to their bench again. Mariners with a double change. Marconi with a triple change as Peter Sekenis looks to throw everything and then some at this one. Looks like Noah Peacock will be withdrawn for Lucas Valela's side. Meanwhile, Fabian Monge, Dom Costanzo and Marko Jesic all withdrawn for the Stallions. Kai Schumacher also going to take his leave for the evening for the Central Coast Mariners. Angus Reid on for the Central Coast Mariners, as is Logan Sandbrook, taking the place of Noah Peacock. I'll try and bring you exact confirmation on all those Marconi changes as well. Liam Yulee, of course, one of those introduced. The referee just having to do a bit of counting here as well to ensure that both sides are at their full complement of 11, no more, no less. Kyle Chimenti also on for the Stallions. Ball into the channel from Paragali. A little too far ahead of Sandbrook though. Well, Costanzo hasn't been withdrawn. In fact, he has stayed on the park, so perhaps a late change to the change for Peter Sekenis' side. Mate Bulshek it is, in fact, on. Number 24 for the Stallions, of course, a former Mariner himself. Another one out there. Chimenti, his first touch now. Richards just hoists it forwards. Sandbrook was a long way back. Easy pickings for Hilton. Swept forward, giving Swibble something to chase, and he's stolen a bit of a march on Mutakoi here as well. Mutakoi had a little clip on the way through as well, and he's down on his haunches there momentarily, Shumba Mutakoi. Mutakudis perhaps lost it in the light for a moment, but eventually nodded back coolly and calmly to Hilton, who gets us back on the move immediately. Daniel, and now Bayless, just helps it on to Mutakudis. Vela. Green grass ahead of him to move into. Clipped out to this near touch line now for Costanzo. Shifts inside on his right foot, Costanzo, and curls one towards the back post, and just a little too much on it there from Dom Costanzo, just overcooking the ball into the area. They've got two big target men up top now, of course, there. Two imposing physical presences in Kyle Chimenti and Geordie Swibble. That's not to say that Jake True isn't a physical presence himself. But fresh legs now as well to cause headaches aplenty, I'm sure, for Michael Paragali and Shumba Mutakoi at the heart of that Mariners defence. Here's Reid, though, for the Mariners, who I fancy will just operate as a bit of a screening midfielder in front of that back four. 4-1-4-1 perhaps for Lucas Valela's side now. Lawrence Taylor and Jordan Small operating at the engine room in the middle of the park. Gyros on the left and Flynn Richards injecting the width on the right. Logan Sambrook has a tough assignment leading the line up on his own there. But as the Stallions continue to look to chase the game, there may be little gaps that might just appear. That's the balance that the Stallions have to strike here. They are so often so good at getting it right as well. Curtis's header goes backwards. Richards wins it. Now Small v Bayliss. Small holds it up and finds support in Taylor, who just turns into touch. Yuli lets him know on the way through as well. Taylor wins it back in the air. Daniel just hoists it forward. It's a bit of an aimless ball forward, really. It's in the direction of Bushek, but comfortably dealt with by Jablonski. Wade clips it forwards, brushes off the locks of Jordan Small. Now on this near touch line is Miller. Whipped delivery towards Sambrook. Vella's there first, and then Murder again to complete the clearance into touch. Inside the final 15 minutes of the regulation 90 here at Marconi Stadium. Morginga and Porter's goal from the penalty spot, the difference. So far, the Mariners wanting the corner. Lions person on this near touchline had a very good view of it. Sent forward by Yuli. Bushek bundled off it. Now it's Small for the Mariners. Richards has Miller overlapping, and Richards just runs into traffic there. Miller's going to have to track back quickly because Costanzo's got plenty of space in which to operate, and well, how's the covering defence from Angus Reid? Didn't quite stick the pass though. Let's see the intention trying to wrap it around Tas Mutakudis and into the path of Sambrook. Again, Swibbles stolen a couple of yards on Mutakui here. Mutakui has recovered well. Takes it to the corner. Digs it out as well. Digs it out into touch. Long throw coming towards the head of Swibble. Chimenti. Mutakui there first, and Jablonski to complete the clearance. Not only completing the clearance, but preventing the corner as well. No long throw this time. Cross is swung in towards Costanzo. It's Miller there with a head to it first. Costanzo, though, will sweep it into the area. Knotted down. Swibble and Chimenti both rising in the end. Wade able to claim quite comfortably. Mate Bushek as well was in the mix as well for that header. It was Swibble though with the final touch, and Swibble again in the channel, racing after this one, getting there ahead of Mutakui and swings it in towards Chimenti. Sent away by Paragali. Chimenti knows he's offside as well. Thrown out this time to the feet of Taylor by Wade. Miller. Forward it goes towards Richards, who's hauled down there by Tas Mutakudis, who will find his way into the referee's notebook, perhaps much to the chagrin of Dom Costanzo, who's got a few things to say about it. Not that it will matter all too much, of course. Tas Mutakudis' name has been taken. Second yellow card of the season since his mid-season signing. His only other yellow card was, as we said, in that 5-0 loss at the hands of Spirit FC here a couple of weeks ago. Costanzo stretching to try and keep it in play. And then offering some words of advice to the ball kids on this near touchline as well. Costanzo certainly understanding the urgency of the assignment that befalls Marconi. It's the Mariners on the ball now, though, with Mutakoi and Jablonski. First time pass in the direction of Rose, who has the beating of Vela as well, ever so well. Now Rose goes past 1 and 2 and 3 and finds Small. Clipped into the area towards Richards. Taylor nods it on to Richards, shifts onto his left and back onto his right. Pass is just too far ahead of Lawrence Taylor, though. Marconi now looking to play their way out from the back, and they've turned it over. Richards. Reed, who's collected on the way through as well. It's all getting a little bit agricultural out there in patches. And the referee is going to have to really take control of the situation. Well, Tom Costanzo certainly doesn't agree with the awarding of the free kick, and neither does Yuli. But it doesn't really matter if they agree with it or not. They just need to get on with things here, Marconi. Jablonski to swing this one in towards the back stick. Rising was Mutakoi, now bouncing in front of Rose. Yuli gets there first and emerges clear with it. And immediately looks to play one into the wide area for Chimenti. Max Miller racing across, covering defender to clear up. Mutakoi sends it straight back into touch. Vela. Daniel. Costanzo. Again, wonderful defending on display from Max Miller against Dom Costanzo, of course. He's got such a wonderful pedigree himself. Adelaide United youth. His old man, of course, Angelo Costanzo, was a famous name in the old NSL. Spent about 4 years or so at Marconi himself. Tyron Burney it is now, winning the corner. Bayless across to take. Looking to inflict some chaos and inflict some heartache on his former employer. In-swinging delivery. Central. Morticutis rises and nods it straight back out towards Bayless, who was onside and now weaves his way into the area. And does well enough to win the corner as well. Maybe had half a thought about the short option. And I'll tell you what, George Daniel is lurking free as a bird on the edge of the area. Swung in again, repelled, nodded clear. Rising is Mutakoi. Burney. Everyone behind the ball here for the Mariners as it's hoisted back into the area towards the head of Morticutis. Paragali it was. Rising. Getting the final touch in the eyes of the referee. Paragali as well doesn't agree with it, but as I said, he doesn't have to. They just need to get on with it. Costanzo to take. That ball, I'll tell you what, looks a little ways outside the quadrant. Hooked in, and then nodded behind again for the umpteenth Marconi corner of the evening. So say the official stats anyway. Everyone for Marconi inside the Mariners half. Everyone for the Mariners defending their penalty area. Doggedly, Wade rises and gets two very good fists to it. Costanzo immediately to return it with interest, and the free header is nodded straight at Joel Wade. who was so grateful to see that one come straight at him. It came at him at a rate of knots off the head of James Bayliss. It just couldn't quite get the direction required to go either side of Joel Wade. Hoisted back in by Miller. Here is Bayliss again. Has the beating of Richards. Costanzo looks to just dink it over the top, and Paragali rises. Miller, now Small. That's a good touch as well on the turn from Small. Finds Sambrook, who's able to release Jai Rose, who's found himself in a handy pocket of space. Still going here is Rose, will strike and will strike over. But he is absolutely collected on the way through, is Jai Rose. Very late in the challenge there. And the Mariners will get another go at it from a very good position just outside the area. Maybe a little bit closer in than they would have hoped. Oh, the challenge from Liam Yuley was ferocious and fierce, and certainly left an impression on Jai Rose. Now, will it be the right boot of Jai Rose or the left boot of Harry Jablonski? And can they get the whip and the dip? Can they get the up and the down to test James Hilton? It's Rose. Goes along the ground. It's a worm burner. Looking to try and find an alternate route to goal, but it's comfortable for Hilton. Now, Reed's there first, but Swibble takes it off his toe. Bayliss has a bit of space in which to operate and measure the pass out to Costanzo. Costanzo now weaving back onto his left. Miller recovering well enough to challenge, but forced again into the concession of the corner. Variation on the corner this time. Daniel with the alternate angle with the cross. Headed half clear and then hooked all the way into touch by Rose. Or perhaps behind for a corner, in fact. Well, they've gone to the corner. No end of time so far this evening. Marconi, they go again. Near post delivery. It's cleared by Mutakui eventually. Jai Rose giving chase. Here's Yuli. Over the top in the direction of Swibble. Mutakui nods it. Forward. It's Bushek now. It's Costanzo measuring the cross towards the penalty spot. And Jordan Small, a bit of a lazy wave of the right boot at it. Didn't get the connection on the clearance. Back heel from Costanzo to find Daniel, who wins the throw. Paragalli's stayed down. Needs to get back up quickly as the cross comes in. Small nods it clear. Bayliss just recycling through Mordakutis. Towards the edge of the area for Chimenti. Bouncing ball is a difficult one to control. Mutakui emerges with it and does ever so well to link up with Rose. The Mariners are readying another substitute here as well as Rose turns. I was going to say turns and burns. He got the turn. Didn't quite have the burn as he held it up on a weighted support. And the end result, just a Marconi throw in. Mariners may just look to use this opportunity to perhaps slow the game down. Yes, they will by making the substitution. And the reintroduction to the first team. A sight I'm sure many Mariners fans are very happy to see indeed. Off the bench this evening for Ahmed El Helou. For the final knockings of this one here at the Palace. Reed sends it back upfield with interest. Throw in Hoisted back in long. Small. Just really prods at the ball. Rising with Sambrook. Flicked on by El Helu. That's a very good looking flick on. And meanwhile, there's been an incident in back play here as well. Flynn Richards is down on the deck, and the Mariners are absolutely incensed. Both sides, I should say, actually are absolutely incensed. It's Flynn Richards who's still on the deck. He's never far from the action. Is Richards. As both sides look to plead their case to the official in the middle. We tick over the final seconds of regulation time here at the Palace. Admittedly, amidst all the chaos, I did not see the fourth official's board go up. It's about to go up now, and going up the other end is Richards. El Helu also giving chase. Murtakutis emerges with it. And now Flynn Richards is going to find his way into the referee's notebook. I'll tell you what, as is George Daniel. No shortage of feeling in this one. Well, I was keeping an eye on play too much. I didn't quite see the board go up for added time. Admittedly, I've only got two eyes sometimes in games like these. You really need four or maybe even six. Things happening all over the park, and Bernie is looking to make more happen. Swivel runs into traffic, and now racing forward on the far touchline go the Mariners, only momentarily hemmed into their own half for the time being. With Sambrook, who's got the fresher legs out there as well, of course, off the bench this evening. Logan Sambrook. Here's Costanzo. It's a very congested central zone. As Paragali nods it clear, Richards helps it on. El Helu has got George Daniel right on his back. Does well to keep it in. It's a little bit short, though, of Miller allowing Bayliss to steal in. Now Reed's coming across to play covering defender. Hoisted in by Bayliss and hoisted behind. And the Mariners will be in very little hurry, I'm sure. To take the resulting goal kick. I was just taking a quick moment there to see if I could eavesdrop on the conversation between George Daniel and the Lions person on this near touchline to see if I could gauge how much time would be left. If I heard correctly, I think I heard about 3 minutes. Wade sends it up over halfway and into touch. Bernie will take the throw in very quickly. They know they need to get it on the move. Mutakoya gets body position. Wanted the free kick as well. Nothing doing. Whipped delivery to the edge of the 6-yard box. Brushes over the head of everyone. Chimenti it was rising to meet it. And just a matter of millimetres off the head of Kyle Chimenti. And it's been that close for the Stallions. It's been one of those nights here at the Palace. As Wade again goes long. Bayliss gets ahead to it first. Then Reed for the Mariners. Then Chimenti for the Stallions. And then Jablonski for the Mariners, who goes forward immediately. Bernie gets there just ahead of El Helu. Yuli. Murtakutis now. Long searching ball again from Murtakutis is met by Mutakoya. Sambrook. Just outside of the foot pass there from Sambrook. All the way through to Hilton. who just needs to hoist it upfield, and hoist it upfield he does. Vella's playing as a makeshift striker now. Miller. It's all hands on deck for the Mariners. It's all hands on deck for Marconi as well. And it's a free kick for the Central Coast Mariners on that far touchline. Jablonski going down, as was Sandbrook. Well and truly through 5 minutes of time added on here so far. Certainly could not be long left in this one. All eyes on the referee as Wade again sends it forwards. Sandbrook continues it. Only into touch. A check of the watch from the referee. It's last chance saloon here for the Stallions. It's whistle to the mouth. It's full time here at the Palace. The Mariners have well and truly flipped the script on that one. It's a famous victory for the Central Coast Mariners as they hoist themselves off the foot of the ladder and out of the relegation zone. It's a massive scalp in the context of their season. And what a performance as they grew into the game over the course of the first half and then got on with it in the second. Marconi still remain within 3 points of Spirit FC atop the table, of course, but Spirit do have that game in hand against St George FC. But who knows in this league? The Chaos League. Long live the Chaos League. No real time for either side to really contemplate this one, of course. Both sides back in action on Sunday afternoon for round 28 as we round the final turn and race down the final straight in the 2025 NPL men's campaign. The Mariners back to their home venue of Plume Park. Well, they'll be hoping so anyway. In match of the round, of course, against St George City on 3 p.m. on Sunday at 3 p.m. I should say. Marconi at home themselves here at the Palace. Same time, same place, Sunday, 3 p.m. as they play host to Manly United. Absolute pleasure having your company this evening, of course, here from the Palace. This one has finished. Central Coast Mariners 1, Marconi Stallions 0, courtesy of Maginga and Posa from the penalty spot. From all of us at Football New South Wales and myself, Pete Pryor, I'll see you all next time. It's bye for now.